Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 33. There is another way of looking at the world. Today's idea is an attempt to recognize that you can shift your perception of the world in both its outer and inner aspects. You can. You may not think you can, but you really, really can. That's why we're being trained. Our mind is being trained so that we can shift our perception. Sentence number 2 in paragraph 1. A full 5 minutes should be devoted to the morning and evening applications. In these practice periods, the idea should be repeated as often as you find comfortable, though unhurried applications are essential. Alternate between surveying your outer and inner perceptions, but without an abrupt sense of shifting. Merely glance casually around the world you perceive as outside of yourself, then close your eyes and survey your inner thoughts with equal casualness. Try to remain equally uninvolved in both and to maintain this detachment as you repeat the idea throughout the day. Paragraph 3. The shorter exercise periods should be as frequent as possible. Specific applications of today's idea should also be made immediately when any situation arises which tempts you to become disturbed. For these applications, say, there is another way of looking at this. So if you get upset about something, go to the grocery store and somebody cuts in front of you in line, you can say, there is another way of looking at this. If your partner, your spouse calls you and has to work late at the office and it upsets you, you can say, there's another way of looking at this. If your child does poorly in school and the teacher calls you and tells you, little Johnny is messing up, and you would normally get all upset about that, you could say, there's another way of looking at this. So this can be applied to anything and everything. As you know, I say every irritation is an invitation to see my ego's motivation. And the minute you have that irritation, you've been invited to look at things differently. So that's what this is all about. When you look at things differently, you're not thinking with the ego that caused the irritation to begin with. So paragraph 4, remember to apply today's idea the instant you are aware of distress. It may be necessary to take a minute or so to sit quietly and repeat the idea to yourself several times. Closing your eyes will probably help in this form of application. So as you're looking about the room, I could look at those plants differently. I could look at that sewing machine differently. I could look at that picture differently. As I'm looking at the bookcase, I see a book. There's another way of looking at that. So again, you're giving yourself permission to look at things differently because it's crucial that you convince yourself that you can shift your perception. We've been trained to believe that once we have a thought, we can't change it. It is what it is. Once you believe and agree with it, it is true. And by gosh, if somebody did you wrong, well, then it's wrong. But you have the ability. You can look at it differently. And it makes all the difference in the world in whether or not you're going to live in peace or you're going to live in a place of unease, because when those things get activated, you won't have another option other than to look at them in the way that causes an intense irritation. Anyways, have fun with this lesson. It's a powerful one. I'll repeat it again. There is another way of looking at the world. It's just up to us to make that decision. Thanks a bunch, and I'll see you in the next lesson.